How exactly is it that you convince a customer, your customer, to buy your upsell or your solution? Hi guys, my name's Deepak Shukla, founder at the Pearl Lemon Group. We're a business growth and development agency based in the UK as well as USA. And if you need any support with corporate communications training, please do reach out to us. And here today in day number 20 of 106 days of communications training, we're here to talk about how is it that you convince a customer to buy your upsell and or your solution. But before we get into it, feel free to click the link in the description below to get access to 7 additional strategies that we're not going to be sharing in this training. And whilst you're there, please do comment, like, and hit the ding subscribe button if you enjoy these videos, because there'll be many more. There'll be 86 new videos that will also be coming out. So look, this is a great question, and what I want to go through is a couple of things that I think are important to convincing a customer to buy your upsell and solution. So it goes without saying that the upsell or the solution needs to like make sense. Okay, it needs to make sense. So making sense, I mean, it's difficult to describe what that means, but a couple of examples is that it needs to correlate with the overall mission of the company. Okay, so if you ask a client to install a widget, then convincing them that it's worth it, you need to relate it back to their North Star. So convincing a customer to buy your upselling solution also comes down to understanding what is the client's North Star. Okay, so for it to make sense, you need to know what the North Star is. So that's something that you ideally should know because they're already a client of yours. And if you don't know, then that's something you need to get to know. So it needs to make sense in context of their overall mission, and you need to relate it to their overall mission or to the nature of your client engagement directly. If it's an upsell of a solution you're already providing, like additional hours for web development, then you don't necessarily need to know the overall North Star, be connected with it, because if it's going to solve problems that relate to what you're already solving, let's say, or fixing, then fantastic. But it does. I mean, in general, it would always pay to know your client's North Star. Like, what are you actually trying to do in general outside of the work that I'm doing for you? And if you should know this. If you don't know this, then it will impact the quality of the work that you do, and it will, influence the advice that you provide, because sometimes the advice won't, you'll think it makes sense, but it won't have any relation in terms of the North Star. So I'd say that knowing the North Star is important for something to make sense. Okay. The next thing is that you need to, and again, this relates a little bit to sales training, but you need to be. And by the way, guys, if you want some insights into sales training, Google or YouTube Pearl Lemon Sales Cold Calling, and I've got 119 videos on the art of cold calls, so you'll get a lot of insights there. But you need to be confident when it comes to the solution, and that comes through some of the things that we've spoken about projecting your voice, about tonality, but it's also about, to be confident, you've got to demonstrate conviction. And conviction is not just tonality, it's not just projection of voice, it's also assurance. Okay, so it's assurance slash reassurance. So to be confident and display conviction, you need to provide assurance. So assurance literally, verbally, is a fear. I think this is going to be good for your business. Frank, I really think this will be powerful if we do this, and it's going to help with the overall growth of the business. Dimitri, we absolutely need to do this. It just makes sense. Let's do it. Come on, let's. Do you see? I'm almost propelling the client to gear or lean in towards this solution. And often, a lot of the time, that's what clients are looking for. They're looking for assurance, okay? They're looking for someone who's confident and demonstrates conviction in their own solution or their own upsell. So does it make sense in context of the work that you're doing or the overall business? Now, to do either of those, it does pay to know the company's North Star. If you know the company's North Star and the idea makes sense, then communicate that idea with confidence and conviction, which is communicated through tone of voice, all of the energetic things that we spoke about, through your expression of energy. And then also the solution, of course, needs to make sense And then if they doubt, if they're unsure, if they're just looking for you, but what do I do? Or do you really? Then you need to give them assurance that I think this is going to work. So make sure it does make sense. Don't just do it singularly on a punt, because you could quite quickly land yourself into trouble. But if you can provide assurance, then that's really, really going to work well. Okay. And this is in light or in view of the kind of one call upsell, one call solution. But you also want to, depending upon the client, data. Okay. So when you provide the idea, or rather when you provide something that makes sense, for it to make sense, there needs to be some data or some clear irrefutable logic behind it, where you know what, it just makes sense. What you said just makes sense. Okay. So that would be the fifth thing that I think is critically important to convincing a customer to buy the dang upsell. Okay. Does it make sense? Does it relate to the client's North Star? Do you communicate it with confidence and with conviction? Do you provide assurance where they're unsure? And do you provide the data to demonstrate that the upsell and solution makes sense? Okay. That is the 5 things that you need to ensure that you've got in the locker when you're trying to convince a customer to buy your upsell and solution. So please do write down below your favorite point here. Write down any other things that you could think of. And of course, please do subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. So there you have it. These are the 5 ways to convince your customer to buy your upsell and or your solution.